Okay. Put defensive edict on here. I'm going to convert this gold mine to Bulgarian. It's either that or Greek, but they're the same, effectively. And we're fighting Venice. Thank goodness. We're fighting them indirectly through Naples, so Venice is going to have some damage dealt to them. And we're going to complete our mission. But Venice is still a big problem for us. Radical reforms. Woohoo. Rank 3 morale advisor. Uh-oh. Oh, damn. I got some favors of Muscovy. For his call to arms. Well, that's good. Venice just breached the walls. Oh, this is so sketchy. Oh no! I'm not sure we will win this. I can't tell what ships are mine or not either. I'm on 521 going into the battle. Can't be mine. He's rolling 9s. You little bastard. This is the type of battle you could study for months. Okay. I'm gonna retreat. Will they retreat? He lost like 5 ships. Okay, he broke the siege on the mountains. Nice. We don't need to stress over that any longer. Milan's gonna bail on us. We should be beating him at sea, though. Yeah, so I didn't lose any of my fleet, which is obviously the most valuable. Oh my gosh, this camera has a problem. It's because it's so foggy and cold here in the morning. Venice played that naval battle really big brain. where he is only reinforcing after we already win. AI smart. Just based on the sheer numbers, I just don't see how we lose this. They're not that powerful at land. But I'm going to keep wearing down their fleets if I can. Hey Momob, what's up? Fortunately, he's got a better admiral than me, which is just such a joke because we rolled like a 60 tradition admiral. Currently, the MEMs do not seem to be participating like crazy. It's not good. So, in a sense, we should subtract their units like they're not actually here, if you see what I'm saying. Diplo technology trading in class. Okay. He is fighting my rebels for me, which is pretty legendary. Otherwise, for truces, it's Poland in 3 years. We probably would want to be punitive against them again. Muscovy is currently out-teching them. Maybe if he puts another one in quality, we genuinely out-tech them, I don't know. But at least we'll be on par. And we still have the Mamluks, would you believe it, rivaling them as well. So, who knows? Maybe I can call everybody in against them, we'll see. Last time was Austria, but Austria's rivaling Poland. Now we created a rift between their relationship. Hey Windrunner, what's up? Nice, cannons got into Corfu. Okay, we're stealing a ton of light ships. Let's downsize a bit as my fleet is getting monstrous. Milan peaced out. Expected. Dissolving this alliance. And Parma was released. I like that. That worked to our advantage. I approve. Aragon rivals us for like the 3rd or 4th time this game. I mean, really, I'm pushing for a 100% victory here. I would love a missionary strength advisor at this stage. Yeah, we're in it for the long haul is what I'm trying to say. The MEMS, I celebrated calling them in big time. They've got 117,000 troops, but I don't really see them. And it's been like 6 months now, like... They do have a border. It is far away, but they do have a border. He's fought my rebels for me, which I appreciate. That's about it. Okay, Venice's fleet is definitely somewhat damaged. More so than ours. I'm going to consider jumping in there. So the perfect fight... Okay, the MEM's lost one more ship. Okay, inflation reduction is pretty good, but I wanted the missionary strength. So we're fully repaired. Okay, let's start on Naples, and if he reinforces that, that will work to his disadvantage. If he is. Is there any way... Bro, you gotta roll good for me here. So, see, this will cripple his morale. He's actually in. Okay. Is there any way we can beat him, guys? He's got the most astronomical amount of heavies, but I am stronger than him in quality. I'm still on 4 and 21. These rolls are just brutal. Or 5 and 21. I rolled well. Hook them. They still have 17 heavies. Holy. All of my heavies in. I roll 8-0, bud. And a heavy's taking damage. I'm gonna bail. We might disengage it. I disengaged it. We got the extra disengagement chance with our, Greek bonus. Wow, he went all the way down to 24 in one day. This freaking roll, dude. Look at the morale. We were cooking them here. Please roll well. 2 to 9. You can't. It's so rigged, bro. It's so rigged. Just awful rolls. We would win this. We might still win this, but it's so nasty, bro. Come on, roll big. 8-2. There we go. I mean, we're proving that our navy is world class here. Come on. He's got 11 heavies total. I've got 2 and 14 galleys. Okay, we retreated that galley as well. Wait, didn't I have 5 heavies before this war started? I think we did lose one, I think. Alright, if we push, we could capture. So I'm pushing. This is costly, but if we win the battle, look at his morale, we capture. 4. I think we had 5 and 21 at the beginning, so we've lost 1 heavy, 2 galleys. Come on, baby, capture, capture. Come on. Bro, I only have 4 galleys in. Is he gonna beat me? I've only got 3 galleys in. He might beat me after all this. This is disgusting. I mean, he has ships taking damage. I've got 1 galley in. I got 0 galleys in. Versus 3 heavies. He just needs ships to die though, look at them. I'm on 4 and 17, so we did lose a lot. Let's steal more, please. We can always build galleys nowadays. We captured 7 ships, none of which were combat ships. What a joke. I rolled ship durability, that's good. I mean, we flexed on him. We bet him at sea, but yeah, the MEMs seem to be coming to participate with some of the units. Nice. Yeah, I only lost units though. That's a shame. Let's work on constructing some galleys. Is they actually finished nowadays? Cool. Keep stealing transports and lights. Hey HB Legend Wall, what's up? It's been a minute, how are you? Okay. More... Everyone with taxi get flagship? Yeah, I noticed Venus had a flagship there. Okay. I mean, you gotta keep in mind, bro, we could barely afford our navy and stuff. Like, things... We double chunked out here, and then I was poor from the overextension, and I actually had debt. Yeah, we should get a flagship going forward, but... It is extremely expensive, but it's worth it. Now, my manpower is full. Let's get some actual regular troops, just reinforce casually. Yay, they repelled them on Pest. Hopefully these reinforcements from the MEMs. We just flood over the Italians. That's what I'm hoping. So, a flagship, well, they're so expensive, man. What's the best flagship for combat? Even at the best of times, that's a relatively niche mechanic for me. I mean, it's a heavy ship, right? Obviously. And get rid of some of these cogs. Nice blockade on Naples, I like that. Let's transfer trade power from Serbia and Bosnia. We want to get every little tick closer to 100% that we can in Constantinople. It's already worth 20 ducats. So, sorry about your economy, guys. So, Genoa's in there with 2%, despite not having a single province inside of the node. I don't like that. We're now allied to France. So, it's not that unlikely that he'll dishonor at some stage. Maybe embracing colonialism, which is spreading, if he takes any loans. But yeah, we want to get Genoa out of here. Even 2% is unacceptable. Obviously, Venice has some influence from this, but I don't see him with a merchant in here. Hungary's 1%. The Turks are on 2, which will be ours in the future. So I'm generally improving with the Italians right now. Not the Pope so much, but I'm interested in diplo-vassalizing these guys. Look at this, we can get Parma. We'd have to make, we can get Florence. Whoa. We can almost get Siena. Lucca is inside the Empire, which is negative 75, but I also enforce religion on him, he's Orthodox. That's cool. There's a heavy ship there. I'm kind of in awe of the fact that Venice had like 27 heavies. Like, holy, and I think they were this Carrack as well, or some of them? Upgraded? Okay, so the Mems have arrived with some troops, and he's got 19 regiments in this fleet. I wonder where they go. So he is participating to some extent. I've been streaming, just not EU4. So nobody wants to watch, but I've been having some of the... Yeah, this guy's back. It looks like his admiral just passed away. I've been having some of the most fun I've ever had playing single player games. I mean, we won, but it was like Pyrrhic victory, guys. Like, I'm under the combat width. He doesn't have an admiral, though. No, he does. He does. I got caught. I got jebaited. That's so annoying. I got jebaited. It just disappeared because he turned into Naples. Okay, I got jebaited. I got outplayed. I can't complain, I guess. Game's not the best ever. And retreat on the 4th. So right now we've been killing galleys. And I could retreat at any moment. That was actually clean. We're not going to win this in the long run. I already have a heavy out. I mean, we're smashing them though, dude. 9 and 2. I just rolled well. Okay. We seem to be cooking them. He's down to 10. We've got 3 and 17. And he's got heavies falling. I actually think we straight up win that. We're doing so much better than the previous battle, so I'm risking another heavy. This is actually my only heavy in. 17 galleys versus 10 heavies, 3 of which are taking heavy damage. We've got all the galley combat ability. Their morale is ass. We're pushing through again, guys. Hey, I retreated. Man, we've retreated every ship. We do have the increased disengagement chance, but, like, we're cooking. His flagship is taking damage. I've only got 15 in right now. Destroyed his flagship. I've only got 14 in. He's got 8, 2 are taking damage. Yo, can, like, the mems help me out or something? Oh no. It's down to 7. They're all taking damage. I'm pushing, but if we keep retreating, like, I've only got 2 to 1. Okay, he's on 3. Holy. GG. Aim at the last second, the mems did. It said we captured 6 ships. Were any of them nothing? So annoying. Winning battles, capturing ships, only transports and lights. Oh well. At least we're beating them at sea. He's still got 14. I mean, that was actually a flawless victory, though. I just got to repair. Pretty stoked with that. So, unfortunately, non-co-belligerent, we need Crete and Corfu. I need them. I think I'm going to release them. That's 0 AE when he's non-co-belligerent. I'm going to break his alliance with Castile. And I'd love war reparations, but... yeah, it's punitive towards him. I just really feel like we haven't done much damage to him, guys. He could ally anybody he wants. That's what's annoying. I don't want to give his land to Austria. So it would be release somebody else, Ragusa. Yeah, I mean, it's not much, guys, but we're pushing for this. Return Corfu to Serbia? It's okay. He's my subject. It cost me Diplo and AE, non-co-belligerent. It's whatever. It's one province. It doesn't do anything to him. Rather take Ragusa. We're releasing 3 cores from him and breaking his alliance with Castile, guys. And by the time we're ready to attack him, he's going to have rebuilds. And he's going to, 2 heavies. I should try steal that. Have different allies, I'm sure of it. But just be glad. I mean, this is the real peace deal. I'm going hard on Naples. We've got crazy AE reduction right now. So that's 100% peace deal. That's what we're doing. And that's why I'm improving relations around Italy. Where they're not going to be very happy with us at all. Okay, let's kick this fleet out and see if we can steal one of these heavies. Yeah, but we can beat Venice now that his fleet's going down, huh? That's the main thing. Because they were looking undefeatable, in a sense. We got them. Still capturing trash ships only. Hey Conqueror, what's up, bud? How are you? Venice's morale is full. Austria has galleys here. I think we should go for it, but I need a repair. Obviously, he's repairing. I've got a round of galleys finishing up. So, this is another chance to steal these heavies. Two heavies still alive. Come on, baby. Give it to me. Give me these heavies. Oh! We got one. And it's a Carrack! Let's go! It's a higher tech than I can even wield right now, guys. big. So I'd have to make them new or reconstruct them into more valuable ones. That's big. Feels good. Buy army professionalism for $200. Mem's out here fighting. He doesn't have pet over general. Okay, I'm full manpower. Let's engage him. Dude, blockading the Gulf of Venice feels good. This bastard, he's been a pain. So I'm currently 1 over my relations. Stack wiped. That feels good, boys. That feels really good. He got repelled from here, but boy, there are a lot of them. After about 10 tries, I was able to recreate the run too. Which one? This one. Sweet. I was able to do it on the second attempt, but effed up the island trapping. Yeah, I was able to do it on the first attempt, I feel like, but effed up. Which hurts me. We should have done it, but it was because I pieced out Epirus rather than defeating his fleet, and then if I had just literally grabbed 1 or 2 galleys, I feel like I could have beaten the Ottomans at sea, and that's what made me fail. Couldn't beat them at sea. Just as soon as I did it, I knew I messed up, so it's just human error. Bad. Mad because bad. I mean, you can't do things in the wrong order and still expect to win. So I think this guy is fully repaired, guys. Frick. Here we go. Another battle. Wait, 1 more day. We should... That will be on 99. But my fleet's fully repaired as well. Here we go. I mean, I got a Carrack this time. As opposed to an early Carrack. We should cook them. By the way... No, I constructed galleys, you dipshit. I'm like, oh, we stole galley at some point. We constructed galleys. So I'm on 5 and 22 going into the battle, guys. It's a good roll. It's just getting butchered, dude. Just hope we don't lose anything. Might lose a galley. That feels good, guys. Feeling strong. I'm on 5 and I think 22. We just stole another ship. It wasn't early, but it's a heavy. 6 and 22. Let's flippin' go. Alright, Venice will fall, and then we can separately piece them. Nice, man. Okay, so admin being way ahead. I think we're going to be deving a little bit. We do have colonialism, which I could dev for. But I think also France will sell it to me. Let's just be as economical as possible. And just dev Orthodox Greek provinces. Go for building slots. Gives me crown land. So we could sell crown land. Yeah, I shouldn't glaze myself too much, but I like the strategy. Would you believe, I don't know, something happened in the community, and I don't think it's just the community, it's a lot of the world is just retarded. I came up with that strategy, and meanwhile, people are watching, like, Ludi Historia, who's like, oh, guys! He's like, if you just don't get attacked, and then you attack Jandar, who's allied to the Great Horde, and then you just defeat them all, and then you vassalize, it's just like a million loops to jump through. It's like, meanwhile, my strategy works pretty much every single time. And strategy takes like 25 years. It's just dumb, bro. Try to do that on very hard difficulty. I just say that because I got grief for posting that video. Like, oh, it's like literally play the game, very hard difficulty, new patch. They've made a million changes to Byzantium. In many ways, they're 10 times harder. You can't assault, you can't do anything. Beat them in 5 years, and consistently. You know what I mean? And everybody's like, well, I mean, you do have war exhaustion, so I guess you've lost the plot. I want Old Monk. We could enforce religion on Savoy. Wow, Andy, like, so Ypres, I recall him randomly allying Genoa or something. That would basically ruin the run. But that's just how it is. It's poorly designed in a sense, I think. So you go into them in December. So you do this. If you hire free company, you pass this, which gives you 10 morale of armies. But then if you... Yeah, you can watch the VODs, exactly. If you own Ypres, you get 10 morale of navies. So that's crucial. But you have to do it the right way. And then my strategy is to hand this to Athens. Because it's your core, you still can annex them for 0 cost. But that allows you to scourge Athens, which then makes any island trapping here, but more importantly, island trapping here on Catalonia, viable. So they can never occupy Athens as long as they don't attack Athens. That's the only way. So then you have the morale of navies. And what I was just talking about is it's really important that you you do your best to steal the Ypres ships, which is RNG. But it really can help. Things that really help you are like trait rolls on your admirals, pips on your admirals. You need a morale of navy advisor. You just need to keep rolling for it and just pay the price, whatever it is. Stealing ships. Those are the big things. But basically, because you have the morale of navies, you can potentially beat the Ottomans with a weaker fleet. Simultaneously, you improve relations while you fight Ypres primarily with Serbia. I've noticed that that is enough typically to dissuade the Ottomans from attacking you initially. And then when they attack somebody out in Anatolia, you try to actually intervene in the war. And I don't mean intervene literally, but I mean declare war on the Ottomans and jump into a naval battle. So if they're fighting like Jandar, for example, you attack them. And that prevents Athens from joining the war. Reform progress is really important. I guess we should heat the stability hit. Unlucky. I am ahead on admin, I could boost it. Yeah, so then if you take down their fleet, what I actually do, unlike everybody else, is I have exiled my troops when I declare war. I ally Theodoro, but I don't get military access. I grab fleet basing rights and I funnel my troops in there and they become exiled. That way he can't kill my units, and I stand in his territory with exiled units. Then when I walk back into my own territory, they become liberated. So because I have no units, and he will go for Catalonia eventually. So my strategy is to play guerrilla warfare, and my entire country falls. So when the time is right, I'll even sortie from Constantinople to kill the garrison. He takes Constantinople, and what ends up happening here is you keep blocking the strait so he can't cross. So if there's a unit here in Arta who's trying to cross here, you blockade the strait with a light ship because they're the fastest, which stops them. But now that the path is open, he will actually select, like, say, his 20 stack that's up here and send it here. But the only way that 20 stacks movement would stop is once they reach Arta and you block the strait. So by doing that, you're able to continuously wrangle them to where he's like, oh, let's go here, oh, let's go here. And eventually, if you scorch Catalonia and also potentially put like your free company in here, maybe with a general to make it slightly more enticing to pile in, you stack them here. But what's really important is as soon as they've locked in their movement, because every day counts, you then go for this to liberate this, because you'll be at 99%, negative 99% war score. They will actually kill you at 100%. So you start moving into here, but what you have to understand is as soon as you lock in an exiled unit, he knows it's a threat. He sees it now. It's exiled. If it wasn't exiled, he would see it and he'd come after it. If it's locked in, they see it, because they know it's arriving and it's now a real stack. So you have to make sure that they're locked in. And then the next thing is that putting down the edict on a regular province can be really, really important. The defensive edict increases your defense by 33%. And that can be many days. Because if he sieges this before you siege that, he'll just full annex you. Okay, now meanwhile, if you've beaten them at sea, they're all here, you liberate this, he occupies that, you're still negative 99, you've trapped his entire force here, and you just go around liberating your entire country. And yes, it costs you a lot of war exhaustion, but I make the strategies so that they're like actually doable. They're not just like, hey guys, I was lucky, and I'm gonna pretend that it's a good video. I actually want, like, the guides that I made, I actually want them to be functional for people. So, like, you can emulate it yourself and you've got good odds of doing it yourself. And the other thing is that, it's consistent. It's, yes, like, there are some luck elements and stuff. I'm not going to deny that. Like, I feel like that's the game in general. But it's pretty consistent. Like, you basically just need to win a few naval battles. Hopefully, if you steal a few ships, that sort of thing, it will make that achievable. Alright, maybe for the purposes of speeding this up, we don't 100% Savoy. I was going to make him Orthodox, guys, which would make it easier to diplo-vassalize him. And if you do it through warfare, they don't have that crazy liberty design modifier from enforcing Orthodox on your subject. I just failed at 64. Feels bad. Hey, Kimifu. Why EU5 failed? I'm not the smartest person in the world, dude. Like, that's... If I don't know the answer, then I don't bother. Do you know what I mean? I'm not 100% sure I know the answer to that question. But I will say that Paradox does some incredibly dubious things. Like, maybe I'm the only one, but I thought it was very controversial the way that this game started in 1444 because I played EU3. So they changed the starting date. And now having played this game for like 10 freaking years, I'm obsessed with the starting date. And I didn't want to say it because I think it's just general pessimism or something like that. But I always thought the starting date was a bit dubious in EU5. They literally went back. So you go, it's just, I don't know, man. You're back, and then you go forward, and then you go back again. Little bit questionable, I think. Like, I do think, personally, if it was 1444, people would enjoy it more. Thoughts? Do you agree, chat? So that's one thing, because it's a different world. But they thought they were, you know, smart. Yeah, I mean, the main reason why, for me, I'll just speak for myself, is that it's like Economic Simulator, but I've complained about it many times. Like, you actually invest thousands of ducats in that game into your nation. Thousands. And nothing happens. Like, you've got a weaker economy than you started with. It's actually a bizarre game. Strict. Ooh. Our average, one above average ruler got strict. That's actually great. We're about to go ham on military. I like that. For the warfare campaigns. It doesn't do anything. And it's extremely frustrating. So I made some videos in EU5, and they're not big and successful, and I understand that, and nobody cares, and that's completely reasonable, but that's where my head is at. So one of the issues with EU5 is how many provinces there are. There's an insane amount, which is not an inherently bad thing. It could be very good. But the problem is, when you take these provinces, so there's like 40 provinces like here, every single province has like a ton of buildings, and 90% of the buildings are costing you money and not generating you money. So you have to actually turn them all off. And even as somebody who learned that, I still didn't do it. Do you know what I mean? You slip, you fail on it. That's not enjoyable gameplay. The buildings are, I don't want to say objectively bad, but they are bad. They're really bad. And it's like, you need tons of them. And you need the right ones. And they're actually objectively good because you can turn them off. But it means toggling them on and off and on and off. And it's a game, like I said, like, it's not just me. I did experiments where I've got 100 plus people. I got people in my chat. I'm like, okay, so what should we do? What should we do with this money? What should I do? What people want me to do? And 100 years go by, I'm making less money. Not 100 years, I'm exaggerating. 10, 15, 40 years go by, I'm making less money. It's just a bizarre game. It's not satisfying. You don't feel the impact of it. You're spending more time managing. It's like you have to manage 10,000 things. I'm not kidding. What do you think you do over hours and hours and hours? You manage 10,000 things, and you're sitting here scratching your head like, am I feeling a difference? Not really. So, what do you want me to say? Now, that's the actual gameplay. But on the topic of EU5, Paradox has just been out of control. Like, I feel like it's been a long time, but I don't want to be too dramatic. But they realize the position they're in. They're very cunning. Like, I wish they were so cunning at designing tactical strategy games or whatever, but they're a very cunning company, and they know full well the creators that they have and stuff, and people who are like, I don't know, unemployed, just desperate for attention. So they give them early access to content and stuff, and then they'll never say something bad about it, because they depend on it. I don't know. And what they've done is I've said it a million times, they released the game in a completely unplayable, dismal, pathetic state. Which is not necessarily a terrible thing. Like, at least you get to play the game. I had fun when I first played the game. But it's a so-called full release. You know? Whereas they could have released a beta. An open beta. But they could have done early access. But they don't want to. for whatever reason, in their head, they decide, no, that's not the way that we can maximize profit. We can maximize profit. In their mind, they've crunched the numbers, and they say, we'll just release the game even though it's a turd. I think not you guys, because you guys put up with my based nonsense the whole time, but the vast majority of the Paradox community are just sycophants, if you know what that means. So there's been like an issue in pop culture. Basically, what I'm trying to say, with all due respect, is if you're a pathetic little bitch, right? And people treat you like a pathetic little bitch, and you're perfectly happy, like you have no problem, you're like, yay, thank you. Well, then nobody will ever treat you with respect, right? It's a very simple concept. They'll just treat you like a pathetic little bitch. And that's what you are. You embody it, right? So you have to protest. You have to stand up for yourself. It's just like basic reality, right? Well, they're sycophants in the community. They're just anybody who's like saying the things that I'm saying, because I was saying it the entire time. It's like, oh, don't follow him, follow this shill instead, who's like, yay, I love it, and it doesn't tell me anything that's wrong with the game whatsoever. Let's see if my camera's working. It is. Nice. So, yeah. That's how it is. So the community, you guys are going to hate me, guys, but I'm going deep. What's wrong with the EU5 game? The community. The community is a pushover. The community is a joke. The community, they all had access to the game. They didn't say anything. They didn't tell you it's bad. And I was saying this same take that I have now for the last year or however long the game's been out, and you get L's, right? You get L's, you don't get W's. So that's also it as well. The game's bad because it wasn't finished, it wasn't released, but you can't expect it to be finished or released when Paradox can just take advantage of you and nobody's doing anything about it. You're primed and ready to be taken advantage of. You're begging to be taken advantage of. Oh, please take advantage of me. Please! This is how the community is, so it is what it is. Okay, should we do a punitive battle against them here? Yeah, so that's pretty much EU5 in a nutshell, okay? That's my opinion, but I'm not an expert or an authority on the matter. Like, I don't know what I'm talking about. That's just my opinion. Okay. Let's do this. Now, this switch back to religious. Maybe I don't need to. Just turn this off. Okay. This is purely to try to waste Venice's money. So, I saw this guy who this synergizes what I'm saying, but I'm very ranty now. You guys triggered me, lol. I'm just trying to answer the question. I'll try to move on, okay, from this topic. But I see this guy who I've never seen before in my life, right? A lot of views by my standard. And I'm like, oh, he's got a lot of views because evidently he's making content on EU5 before I have access to the game, by the way. Or you. You and I don't have access to the game, and I'm basically blacklisted by Paradox because I am, like, obnoxious and speak my mind and stuff, right? They want Asians, guys. They want Asians. With love. That's what they want. They're like, oh, I'll target demographic Asians. They don't speak their mind. I'm just making a joke. Now, the thing is, so this guy is like, and it's like, okay, I guess this is a Paradox guy who, like, he doesn't have a entire, catalog of achievements or what. So it's like, whatever, okay, he has access to the game, so people watch him, sweet, okay. So I'm watching the guy just because it's recommended to me and I'm interested in EU5. Meanwhile, the game comes out, right? And I'm kind of like, mixed feelings. I didn't hate it at first. You're learning the game, it's hype. The music was like incredible. But I've got some pretty negative thoughts also. And so this guy, he posts a video and it's like, now that the game is out and I don't have obligation with a Paradox, let me really tell you my thoughts. Like, that's kind of like the vibe, the title of this video. And so it's just like, oh, so the guy's just a shill, a charlatan, a liar. Like, this is the world that we live in. And I just want to say, because people don't, they don't, like, care. Like, a lot of people, like, now, you guys here, you're like, yeah, you care. But people didn't care at the time. I've been saying this the entire time, right? Nobody cares. It's just like, yeah, they're liars. But it goes deeper than that, guys. Because I have been saying this before EU5 came out. I've been saying this about human nature. I've been talking about this forever. Is this any different from... Who's heard me rant about Gordon Ramsay? Gordon Ramsay did a show called Boiling Point, or whatever, a movie, in like the year 2000, okay? And this dude completely shills for an apple with the intention it's in competition with the Granny Smith apple. Okay, and he shills for it. And he's like, oh, it's best apple. Oh, I stake my reputation as Gordon Ramsay, you donkey. It's raw, you donkey, and this is the best apple. Okay, and so meanwhile, as soon as the documentary comes out and he's gotten paid, he starts talking about how bad the apple is, and he just did it because he got paid. So people try to hold the dude accountable on, like, the whatever you see it on the internet, where they're like, dude, I bought this apple because you said it was good, and like, it's crap, it's worse than a Granny Smith. And he's just like, yeah, but guess what though, I got paid a lot. Scammed. And this type of behavior, it doesn't result in Gordon Ramsay's career declining. It results in the opposite. It results in him having a great, flourishing career. So basically, the moral of the story is, humans are evil, and that's why you can't have nice things. Okay? It's just universal. So, most of you guys, and I'm not talking, well, I am now, because we're talking about something else. We're talking about spirituality, okay? But we're evil, okay? But the people who don't understand that and don't acknowledge it, and the people who recoil when you tell them the truth, they are just beyond evil. It's the, like, there's no, the amount of evil that they are. And so that's why you can't have nice things, okay? So the reason you have had nice things is because the foundation of your society has been built on good people and good values and now we take it for granted. And we're in a situation now where if you pay somebody to fix the homeless issue, they will take the money. Okay? And then they're like, hey, but I learned from the best, Gordon Ramsay, scammed! And everybody's like, yay! That's how society's been. And people make games, but they just scam you. Right? This is how it is. And then some of you guys, slowly but surely, as you like wake up and you're like, I'm in hell now. You're like, what happened? Well, it's also because you're a little demon. That's why you're in hell. Okay, let's see. So this is an interesting one because... No, we're not going to full state it. Okay. Taking the increased development is not great. So we can pop this. And then that will give me a permaclaim here, I believe, for coring it. That's why I cancelled it. And we got new culture on lock, which is only for flavor. Because these are trading companies anyway, guys. Which... yeah, that's cool. That's part of our cultural union. So these are the ones that got the development, I believe. Okay, now I've got a permaclaim here. See, this is why you guys don't ask me questions, right? Because I go hard up in the paid chat. I'm not like, oh, maybe they should change the mechanic. I go hard up in the paint. I'm like, you're evil, and you deserve it. You don't deserve anything better. I'm just kidding. Okay, so the man's a defender of the faith, guys, but we can manipulate him. If we call him here, we can attack Tunis. Thoughts? That has been a long time coming, man. Beating Naples. Holy. So Venice currently... Somebody's asking who are his allies. I mean, I broke Castile. Well, he's got the same allies he had. Okay. Now I'll diplo points. I'm thinking... If Georgia ever disappears, we inherit him, and I could make another Pronari boy. We could annex this guy the old-fashioned way. That's one relation. So I'm going to diplo-vassalize these guys, but we've got the free guarantee. I'm actually going to diplo-vassalize all of them. So if Georgia disappears, he doesn't take a relation slot, but I could turn Serbia, for example, into a Pronari. Now, I don't want to inherit them, so we just don't make them hereditary. I'm not sure anybody else, or even Serbia. I'm worried about Liberty Desire, but Georgia going away would make a difference. Thanks for explaining your opening moves. After a look at the VOD, what ideas did you take? Yeah, you have to watch the VOD if you want a good execution. I took quality and diplomatic because I'm going for the Giga Chad move, which is Diplo Admin. And I just like doing a quality idea first because there's a military idea first. There's a few reasons why. One is because Byzantium has more cores than you actually have, so it doesn't cost you admin to expand. And the second reason why is because you typically are bottlenecked a little bit, so you don't have the luxury of, how do you get out of this? Just expanding. So, therefore, you have admin points, is what I'm trying to say. You don't have an admin issue. Whereas somebody like Muscovy would probably have the ability to expand, and taking an admin idea group would kind of screw you a little bit. So, when you can't expand so easily, I prefer mill. It's more, economical. I'm not sure if that makes sense or not. Anyway, so we're juiced up on our military. So Byzantium has a severe weakness. Their only military quality modifier is all the way down here. And it's not the best. Obviously discounting other things like manpower and stuff. But you do have bonuses from missions. Oh, in-depth defense, by the way, finally. Mercenary cost and mercenary discipline. For 20 years. Gain 10 army tradition. Okay. Underwhelming mission we could pass. Have you ever thought of going into some other games? New games coming out? It's supposed to be good? Well, the entire industry is crap right now, Kimipo. So yes, the answer is yes, I did. I have thought about it for sure, but the gaming industry is garbage. I just had the most fun I've ever had streaming over the last 6 months, and there was not a single new game that I played. I played old games. Okay, let's see. Whoa, Venice is making money, bro. 8.5. That's 10% of their income. Yeah, I know you were there for the XCOM campaign, Kimipu. Okay, this Liberty Design modifier is pretty small. Here, this was our war music. Let's switch it. We're not at war. Let's relax a little bit. Does the MEMS help against Poland? Oh, they do. So Muscovy declared another war. Bad timing. Okay, so we're gonna go for QQ. Call the Mamelukes in. He will absolutely roll them. He doesn't even desire the land. So that's free expansion up there. Free real estate. Then because he's Defender of the Faith, he will dishonor us. And we go in against Tunis and just smash them, okay? And then having North Africa is going to really, really assist on fighting the Mamluks themselves, because it's going to be a multi-front war. And his AI is absolute dog poo. Tunis, obviously, we take the trade centers. And we turn them into a trading company, and we get a free merchant, even though we don't value the trade in merchant in Tunisia or Maghreb. It's going to really help us a lot. Okay, I think we're just going to eat this. One maneuver either way. Genoa declares war on Savoy. Ortho bro going down. Do I have any Greek provinces which haven't converted? No. So these are very slow, the Greek missions. What I could do maybe is specifically convert like these trade centers, because we could be working on that trading company. But for me, we're not going to get it to be, unless we invest in a crazy amount. I have to defeat the Mamluks anyway, so we have time. Yeah, so this is CCR, which, no, not there. Yes, it is there. 10 CCR and separatism. We're about to go through an expansion phase. If I deploy vassalize Crete, there's that's something completed a mission. I can't centralize this guy's land. It's too expensive in my capital. So I was really disappointed to find out this guy is a republic no matter what you do, because I was going to use our game mechanic to inherit him for free, which is not going to work. Okay, let's do this war, guys. So the highest dev, it's looking like it's 13. Yep. For the Mams, before they declare their own war, let's have him carry us there. And then next month we dealt Tunis. I want my light ships to be in operation if possible while we fight the war. Hey Badshish, what's up? I loaded up EU4 yesterday and tried fighting the Ottomans on normal. My allied troops were so scared that they ran to Lithuania. It sounds about right. Yeah, they're so difficult. People don't even assist you often in battles, or you're getting stack wiped. Hey, Greek province. That one's already Orthodox. I know exactly what you mean. It's absolutely brutal. And that's why you have to come up with, like, the cheeses and things that I've done. Let's go for Tunis, boys. Okay, so I can actually do something interesting, which is land directly in the Mamluks' port. So this has to be Tunisia itself, because it's the capital and I want it. Don't even need to check the war score. Yeah, so I guess, like, think about the Odyssey controversy that's come out, guys. So do you guys approve of the hate, so to speak, the outrage of the Odyssey, or not? Because that goes into what I was saying. Big outrage is good, exactly. Hey, newbies bot. Exactly. So if you... I 100% approve, even having not seen the movie, because of what I was just talking about, ranting, where if you're just going to put up with it, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. It's not going to get better. So that's something that just came to mind. But this is the other thing. A lot of people accuse me of being inflammatory or exaggerating or whatever. Well, if you understand where I'm coming from, you'll realize that my mentality, the mentality that I have, like, the Odyssey thing doesn't surprise me. In fact, it's expected. And these people, I don't even know how it works, because it's so insane. Look at that, I can perfectly take my claims. I like that. But I do know that the Greeks paid an exorbitant amount of taxes that went to the Odyssey, and there's one guy who was like half Greek or something like that, through coincidence, actor in the entire movie. I don't understand how this has like happened, why a nation spends money paying taxes or something, but the point is, it's really bad out here, guys. It's really bad. Anybody who is disapproved is... they lie, they exaggerate, that you're like a horrible, evil person. You simultaneously have the Disney show coming out with the Polynesian Maori lore, Moana, and you have articles from from news outlets and stuff. You have articles saying, oh, the most important thing is that we have to respect the culture and have the ethnicity to be correct, and so on. And those exact same article outlets are calling Greeks racist because they're upset that there is, number one, no Greeks in the movie, or Greek representation, but then they're also race-switching people and stuff like that, which is like adding insult to injury. So it's like deliberately, like there are Spartans who are black in the movie, right? So the point, the whole thing is ugly. It's an ugly topic. People somehow, they get mad at me, and they like I want to do this, like I want to talk about this sort of stuff. I don't. But the fact of the matter is that the vitriol, the double standard, the hatred towards you is palpable. It's palpable, guys. Like, your children are going to suffer if you don't stand up for yourself. If you ever have children. That is the reality of the situation. It's just in line with what we're talking about earlier. You think Paradox respects you guys? Like, they don't, evidently, by their behavior. If there are people who will stand up for you for, like, consumer rights or so on, they will blackball them and boycott them, and they'll get some, bum who hasn't achieved anything to voluntarily, and they'll give him early access because he's, like, unemployed, so that he will then, sucking on the teat, be like, oh, nice, I need to get this early access because that's why people watch my videos. So then they'll never speak out against... You see what I'm saying? That's how it works. But anyway, the point is, like, all the stuff that I'm talking about, like, you can think I'm exaggerating or lying or pessimistic or people... What did people call me? That I'm... People always say that I'm... contrarian. That's the word. Oh, he's just trying to be contrarian, guys. Ignore him. Yeah. I just want to do this. Have like a mega base take. The vast majority of people hate me. The Paradox hates me. I just want to do that, guys. That's why I just love being hated. That's why I give you guys the real opinion. No, of course not. Okay. Anyways, Tunis looks super free here to me. So we gotta make sure that we take... Nice. I suspect if we get the war goal and war score cost is reduced, I can take this. So one thing I don't like about this war is that these two inland provinces won't core. But I do want this fort, so I'm gonna do it. I think I can take that as well, just for thematic reasons. Be able to walk into the Mams, because I'm a little bit worried about the Mams, guys. Look at them. So I think he just completed defensive. I do think we could reliably out-tech him in general. But that's probably... I mean, we're really building up a nation now. But that's probably going to be the first war where I really, really sweat and work, I think. Because it's... in many ways, they're just going to be objectively stronger than us. In every way, almost. Okay, we will absolutely butcher Tunis at sea here. Public schools are so effing excited to indoctrinate our children. I don't know much about the schooling system. I know that I do think teachers sort of get a bad rap on one hand. There's two sides to most conversations, right? I think teachers, obviously, they often don't get enough help, you know, assistance, resources, etc. It is difficult, but there's one reason why that is like free market. It's considered... this is what a lot of teachers don't understand. So a lot of teachers just complain, oh, you know, it's not fair, we're struggling. Teaching is considered a very desirable job, and it's because it's in government. Teaching is government. So the thing is, a lot of people, they're like, oh, I'd like to be a teacher when I grow up, especially women, right? But a lot of people are like, I'd love to teach. I think I'm good at teaching. They want to be around others. It's social. The children look up to you, and so on, right? It's considered desirable. So what happens is that the government doesn't allocate resources, because if they don't allocate resources, it's still considered desirable. Does that make sense? So when you make something, when you pay people or overpay people for doing desirable things, then nobody will do undesirable things. So, for example, people aren't going to pick up surge. So you have to pay people to pick up surge. And if you look at it, you'll find dealing with surge is very well paid compared to teaching, typically. And it doesn't require a crazy amount of skills or anything like that necessarily. It's because it's a very undesirable job. So this is one of the underlining issues. As far as solutions, you know, I don't know. But also, it's such a complicated topic. I think for me, what it boils down to primarily is that there's a lot of people who... It's the same thing of, you know, what I was talking about earlier, but it's just, it all comes back to the same thing in my mind, but that's primarily, it's the culture and the lack of spirituality, but specifically Christianity, that's what I mean. I just don't feel like can say anything useful on that topic, so we'll move on. That's what it all comes down to, guys. That's just what it all comes down to. It's just literally evil. So, say if you take, like, the most stereotypical bad man, right? The most stereotypical bad man. So we're talking about AH, okay? What people do is they say, I would never do that. I'm a good person. I would never do that. If I was back there, I wouldn't do that. What Christianity basically teaches you is that you're bad. You're not good, you're bad. So the assumption is you would do that. You would do that, right? You would just go along. It's difficult to stand up. Actually, you probably would do that. What happens if you stand up for yourself and say, no, this is wrong, is you get taken care of, you get dealt with. So you have basically good people who are more real than people who aren't so good. Does that make sense? That's how it works in my mind. It's very easy to just say, like, oh, I would never do that, I would never do that, I would never do that. But you would. It's delusional. Sometimes homeschool weird kid gonna be... Yeah, homeschooling's a hard one. Because you're weird at the best of times. I'm weird. In case you guys didn't notice, I'm the most normal. Did you guys know that? Typical guy. We actually have 2 admirals. I could pop that one on there. It's got a little bit more maneuver. It's almost 10 AM in New Zealand. I do a lot of things, Oscar, but I do manual labor, literally. Okay, what do we see here? Patriarchal authority. The way people jumped on... Yeah. You're right, HB. And how quickly people want to just strategically, like, forget about it or whatever. So we got Inno from our military ideas. And that's it. Okay. Let's play a different song. Savage Life says I went to public school, but I think I skipped slacked classes. I'm more individually homeschooled. Oh yeah, that's a good point, Savage Life, because a lot of it comes down to individuals as well. Like, it's hard. I definitely slacked off when I went to school, but it's like, I don't know. I've got crazy stories from school, and I've heard it's just gotten worse. And what I mean by crazy stories is like where they basically put you in a situation where they give up on you, that sort of thing. But it's all good. I don't have any resentment towards that or whatever. Doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Guess I'll attempt to go fight my own rebels. My dog came to say hi. Hi, Frankie. Hello. Oh, she's a good girl. Okay, this is inconsequential. Okay, so I'll remind you guys that the main goal here, I'm patting my dog one hand, playing one hand right now, is restore the schism. That's what I'm trying to do, which I've never done before. And I'm kind of like low-key, I'm a little bit addicted, because I want to go ham here. But if we're not careful, it's going to do more harm than good. Because people who are outraged and your rival and stuff don't flip. Let me see here. At least, so it's a number of provinces in Europe? Oh. So we need like 131 provinces in Europe specifically. Oh, okay. Okay, never mind. We're going to be doing a lot in Europe. Okay, I might take some land that, like here, that I typically might not actually want per se. We might do that, like in terms of the perfect clean border for like the ultimate empire, in order to make it happen. Okay, Frankie, you're a good girl. Yeah, you're gonna have to go away. Okay, after the stream, we'll go for a walk. Okay, good girl. Go on, go away. To pick up. It's a good point. I was also looking at, like, Eastern Europe, like, be Muscovy, but that is true. We could have been in that territory already. I always think about things, and maybe it's my own flaw, but, like, I always think about things in terms of, the perfect border. So I've got the most efficient border. But, like, it's like, in order to do what, though? So I might have been dropping the ball here. By the way, guys, like, I get, like, obviously, if you can't tell, like, I'm trying not to rant. Like, I feel like we had our rant, but the thing is, guys, like, what a lot of people want to hear is they want to hear it's this, it's that, it's somebody else, and the reality is, I just got finished saying it, and then people want me to talk about a different topic. It's you and I, okay? It's you and I. It's not everybody else. It's like people want to blame others. Like, guys, the COVID thing, I was against it the entire time. I was speaking about it the entire time. I live in a country where they're about to knock on my door and lock me up, okay, for talking about it. Okay? Insanity. And was I having people like, yeah, true, yeah, we should talk, yeah, good point, let's boost this guy, yeah, no, this is important. Was that happening? No, it wasn't happening. The opposite was happening, right? Killing my channel. What? Oh, Monk, why don't you just... What happened to you, Monk? What happened to you? This is how the world is. So, isn't that exactly in line, thematic, to what the whole conversation I was talking about today in regards to everything? We're a bunch of little bitches, okay? End of story. People's like, oh, we should be, you know, you don't get anything for free. It's a good thing we're not slaves today, eh? Because we act like it. So how do you get out of slavery and stuff? And become independent? And have liberty? By acting like a slave? Little pathetic little bitch, like crying, oh, reality said something that I don't like, so he's wrong. Or, what I do like is, like, we should destroy all of society. He doesn't want to destroy all of society, so he's wrong. No, we're pathetic. Like, everybody knows it. That's why you lose your view count and stuff talking about it. Everybody wants to just watch a game, watch a stream, because we're all pathetic and we all know it. But I don't like this idea. Like, go watch Nick Fuentes or something, guys. Like, the most popular commentator in the world. He'll tell you, oh, it's this group, it's that group, it's this group, it's not them. If you're not a Christian, like, based hardcore, like, into it or whatever, like, you're going to hell. You've been told it your whole life. Welcome to reality. He's pretty based. I don't despise the guy, but for me, the biggest thing about him is that he was like, he's sitting there next to his buddy Sneeko, who's saying, this guy Sneeko is saying that the invasion of Europe is a psyop. So Nick is the type of guy who is boosting out on the airwaves how, you know, black people in the US are like 14% of the population or something like that. So the males who primarily commit the crime are like 7% of the population or something like that. So you have something like 7% of the population that is committing something like 50% of the violent crime. Okay? One in chat, I'm not misrepresenting him. That's like every second breath that he's ever said in his life, I'm exaggerating, I'm just kidding around, is that, right? Meanwhile, you have like 6% of the population in the UK who is Muslim, and by the same logic, it's the males who are perpetrating the crime, so you have about 3% of the population, and they're committing roughly 50% of the grooming and rapes of young girls. I was about to say women, girls. And so Nick is supposed to be based in all this and a truth teller and a Christian, right? And he is sitting next to a guy who is saying that that's a psyop. Do you guys know what a psyop means? If you believe that, you're falling into the psychological operation of the government. And this guy's sitting there next to him talking about that. So Nick is just like sitting there with a dumb look on his face, like, yeah, seems good, yeah. So he's supposed to be like a hard truth teller, right? It's not true. Now, some people just said that he's not friends with Sneeko now. Well, it doesn't surprise me at all that he's not friends with... It's very difficult to be friends with demons. But the point is, it reveals his character. Doesn't it? That's who he is. So, has anybody watched my stream? I know most of you guys haven't been here, but for somebody like Conqueror, if you're here, have I been talking about that? Of course I have. And people don't want to hear it. So you're talking about it, but Nick is playing strategy. He's thinking about, we can ally. I shouldn't say anything about the people who are systematically raping women, little girls, everybody throughout Europe, because they could be our allies. Again, so there's a dynamic where the theme system, sweet, insane modifier. There's a dynamic where the enemies, guys, these two, except I shouldn't say that because the guys who are here were never there. So let's say like these two. Okay, they've been going at it for like almost like 1500 years or something like that. 1600 years. Okay? And this is the reality of the situation. Is the people who hate this one, they hate them, a lot of them hate them to such an extent that it's literally EU4. The enemy of your enemy is your friend. We hate Venice, they hate Venice, they're our friend. The people who hate this group like crazy have a tendency to, oh, this group is our friend. And it goes the other way round, Nick. The people who hate this group, oh, we hate them. This group is their friend. Okay? Hence, Sneeko. But then he realizes, oh, I just can't hang with the demons anymore. I just can't hang. Sneeko's going around just like talking about child talking about child rape, talking about grooming, talking about just every day. Like, yeah, what's the big deal? What are you talking about? Oh, it's great. Like, unironically, right? Like, oh, Muhammad, 6 years old. Yeah, no, it's good. Go, wow, wonderful. He's peace be upon him. Okay, so he can't hang. He's like, yeah, I can't hang with the demons anymore. But it reveals Nick's character. It's not a problem. Not a problem. He will sacrifice all of Europe if he can become like president of the USA. Like that's what he wants to do. Be under no illusions. So yeah, I'm not a fan. It's about good versus evil at this point, obviously, and the point is that all of us, myself included, are on the evil side. The entire concept of Christianity is to like be baptized and be born again, okay? And a lot of the emphasis that people don't realize when you talk about that, including Christians themselves, like in America in particular, like this pop culture Christian, is that you are dead now. People talking about being born again, but it's also dying, though. in order to be born again, your previous version is dead now. And with the help of like being humble, humility, prayer, and supernatural divine aid and assistance, keeping your mind on the goal, it's up to you and also those supernatural forces to attempt to remain deceased. The bad remains deceased. 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 The bad, deceased. That's what it means to be born again. So, we're evil, is the point I'm trying to make. And you have these people out here trying to rally the troops, like us versus them. Like, oh, it's only them. They're the problem. They're the problem. Well, I don't roll that way. They're not. I can say, and I'm not trying to gloat on anybody, but I never took the COVID shot, the vaccine, for example. Now, the vast majority of people did, and they weren't willing to pay the price, right? So you have a lot of people who are like, oh, unfortunately I did. Oh, unfortunately I did. I'm not judging anybody who did, believe it or not. I'm just trying to make a point. I think there are situations where you had to take it because you feel like, you know, maybe your family is in the hospital or something like that by coincidence. Probably not from COVID, because it's like, let's be honest, it's like a fake-ass freaking barely did anything to anybody. More people died from the so-called solution than the problem. But where's he going? Fazan? I don't see it down here. Okay. The point is, we can't hang, right? That's all I'm trying to say. Don't be thinking like you're so good and stuff like that. How many people... Man, you've gone off the deep end? Yeah, it's true, Sten. I've gone off the deep end, but it was like 24 years ago. Not lately. The thing... You just derailed me. I lost my train of thought. Never mind. It'll come back to me. No way more people die from the... It just depends how... Thedbert. It just depends how you classify the deaths, because there was no... Basically, it's admitted now. I'm not going to talk about this with somebody who's uninformed, who is just determined to, like, rage bait me or just, like, say, oh, you're crazy. I'm just not going to engage in that. But the fact of the matter is, it's all out now. It's all out now. So people died in car crashes, and they said this is a COVID death. It's all out now. This is what I'm talking about. This is the problem. It's not some conspiracy. It's oh guys, they control everything. People died in car crashes, and it's been on the news. Mainstream news. They're like, yeah, look, these liars said it was COVID. And you've got you are the problem. That's what I'm saying. Not, oh, little group, oh, they're controlling. You're the problem. You're like, oh, no way this is just because you're uninformed. I'm judging you, Third Bird. You're right about that. I'm not your daddy, brother. I'm not your daddy. I said what it is. I said what it is. I don't have any motivation apart from the truth. I said what it is, and you want to come in here and you want to be like, oh, fake news. Oh, God, because I'm informed and you're ill-informed. This is the issue. It's us. And I'm generous enough because I'm being 100% real. Even now, I'm saying us, like you are me, Third Bird. I don't hate you. Okay, but you're stupid as hell. I'm stupid as hell in other ways. It's us. Okay? We're retarded out here. You can't be retarded as a society and expect everything to go normally. It's just like how people buy EU5 and the game's a scam. It's just how Gordon Ramsay becomes like one of the most successful rich businessmen in the world by scamming people. And he doesn't do it hiding. He does it overtly, out and about. And people are like, oh, that's so funny. It's us. It's not productive. It's not healthy. It's not good. We're bad. As a social scientist, I understand very well, but you're not productive either. That might be true. I might not be productive. I'm trying. It might not benefit anybody to rant the way I am. They might not think that it's coherent in any way at all. I'm trying. So, okay. Let me out. Whatever. I actually don't want to get baited talking about COVID. It's so retarded. Let's peace out, mush. So, I'm not like a Donald Trump sycophant, but Donald Trump basically, on this particular topic... Now, by the way, the guy made the vaccine. Okay? So I'm not... Like, again, I'm not a sycophant. He's not... You say Trump and people are like, oh my gosh, he worships Donald Trump. Aren't you supposed to be a Christian? I thought... It's like people are psychotic. But on this particular topic, the guy... That's all you need to do. The guy said everything correctly. Most of those opinions that I had at the time were also, I think, common sense opinions, and I agreed with him. And he was completely vindicated and proven correct on COVID. He basically said straight up that, like, oh, it's just elderly people dying, primarily. There's very few kids. The debate went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, where they're like, actually, if you're a perfectly healthy young person who has no other issues whatsoever, you just drop dead and die from COVID. Well, it's lies. It's lies. We all know it's lies now, and the science is on my side, not your side. And he was completely vindicated and proven correctly. The only way that other people die is because they have respiratory issues and all sorts of other alternative issues. Nobody young... No children are just dropping dead. That's the reality of their situation. And what happened when it comes to the death reports and so on is one of the largest killers of all people, all of humanity today is pneumonia. But people don't talk about that per se. They talk about other issues because it's natural. When people say natural death, natural causes, it's almost always pneumonia. When somebody's neglected, they're weak, they're sad, they're old, like they're in a bad state, but like it's their time. It's pneumonia that gets them, like most of the time, and other issues like that. And the reports, there was like no deaths from pneumonia. You can go look at the scam right in your face. There's no deaths from the regular cold. This is what happens, guys, is when somebody's like 80, 90 years old, and they no longer are, like, they don't have the will any longer. They die from a regular cold because the regular cold is what gives them pneumonia. The stats are like, it's like 100,000 people died in 2018 from pneumonia, aka cold. 100,000 people died in like 2019. 0 people died 2020. Oh, by the way, hundreds of thousands of people died from COVID. This is the reality of the situation. Hindsight is 2020. I was saying it at the time! Who watches me conqueror? I was saying it at the time! This is the issue! You and me! This is what I'm talking about! I was saying it at the time! I was saying it beforehand! And you have 99% of people, oh my gosh, fake news! This is what I'm talking about, that's the problem. I identified the problem, I'm looking at it, his name's Third Bert. Out of respect, I've been saying us, collectively, including myself, because I'm wrong on other issues. I'm not perfect. And these people, it's such an emotional topic. It's such an emotional topic. They refuse to take accountability because we're demons. We are demons. We have demons inside of us. Man. You're dumb as hell, bro. You don't care about the emotion, bro. From my point of view, okay, later, 100% of that was emotional. 100%. I say my opinion, which is 100% grounded in reality, and he says, fake news! That's ad hominem. Right? And then he wants to talk about it. Well, he couldn't hang with me, could he? It's not fair for him. I've got the mic, I'm on the stream, but he couldn't hang. Everybody knows I'm right. Who here, seriously, you're just like, but if I'm just dumb enough, but if I'm just dumb enough, then I'm right. Everybody's like, no, Monk. They go look at the stats. Close my eyes. Go look at the stats. Close my eyes. The stats tell me that I'm right. Oh boy. I'm not all-knowing at all. Isn't that like more ad hominem, guys? It's the equivalent, I feel like. It's a fallacy. We just lost one of the bonuses. I think the one that lasted 15 years. I don't feel like I got that. Obviously, improved relations is really nice. Is this real? Oh, damn. No, I 100%ed Naples. No, that was amazing, bro. I feel like we got great value out of that, actually. I don't think you having those harsh restrictions on freedom for a couple years sadly be worth it if having these rules saves life, basically. 20% attrition, sorry. I don't know what you're saying, but welcome first time chatter. We're talking about heavy stuff here and stuff like that, so just be warned. Hey, thank you Desert Fox for the Prime, I appreciate that. Thank you, bro. No, it's fake in the sense that people naturally pass away, and there was definitely some kind of weird reaction that people were having, some kind of virus thing. I don't know. I'm not like omniscient or whatever. Like COVID was like real in some kind of sense or way. But it's really funny that like in New Zealand, for example, basically they were like, we gotta, what's it the term called? Dwarf the curve, right? Whatever term they were using. Curve is going to be too high, it's going to be too much, and we've got to flatten it, flatten the curve. And it's like 4 years go by, and we're like still like prisoners in our own homes, and people are fed up. And we're like, you know, enough of this. And they're like, no, we still have to, we have to dwarf the curve. You know, we have to flatten the curve. Not enough of this, we have to flatten the curve. And then people are like, no, actually, enough of this. We're occupying the capital, you're done. And they're like, oh, arrest them for occupying the capital, arrest them. And the police chief is like, nah, nope, you're done. And they're like, okay, we're done, sorry, and it's gone now. And then it's like, oh, it just went away. So apparently, it's like, if we don't do what we're told, we're all going to die and the hospital's going to be overflowing and stuff. But we didn't do what we're told, and it just goes away. And it's better than ever. Interesting how that works, eh? It's like, you better do what we say, aka just be, everybody's just a slave, or you're going to die. And we're like, alright, we're good. We'll just die then. And they're like, oh shit, they're not slaves and they didn't die. It's just so stupid, dude. Unfortunately we were bluffing, and it's just old people who are dying from the flu who are dying. Shoot. So, some people were talking about, like, bringing COVID up like it's some, like, epic nostalgia trip. One thing that really got me, and I was talking about it after the fact, is this guy that was so beloved at one point in America, the Vivek Ramaswamy, or whatever his name is. The guy is a billionaire from pharmaceuticals, guys. He's a pharmaceutical industry guy. And this dude, everybody was talking about how he's going to be the next president and all this stuff. And he's a billionaire in like his 30s from pharmaceuticals. Like, personally, considering the environment, pretty suspect, right? Like, personally, maybe I'm crazy. I'm like, doesn't seem that great to me. But regardless, the guy, it's like, what happens? Of course, some people out there are like, I mean, you're a pharmaceutical guy. What was your stance on COVID? So the guy, he does this crazy thing you couldn't possibly imagine. It's this insane concept, right? Big brain, strategy. He just lies, right? He just lies. So he's like, I was opposed to COVID. Meanwhile, you can literally look at the tweets where he's mocking people who are opposed to COVID, where he's ridiculing people who's opposed to COVID, where he's saying, the science is on our side. You follow the science. He's saying, shouldn't go outside without a mask. La 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 la, and he just lies. And it's like, this dude, that didn't destroy his career. I'm out here. This is why, like, this isn't nostalgic to me, because I was talking about it like a year ago, like 2 years ago, right before this guy finally got felled over some other nonsense. Everybody is just like, oh, we love this pharmaceutical billionaire who's just an objectively true liar who's just lying to us. We should usher him in as the president. Until finally he said something about Indians, and then people were like, right, that's enough. He just said he wants more Indians. It's over. And I'm like, okay, well, good enough. I mean, get him out of here. But it's like, bro, people are dumb as bricks, brother. People are dumb as bricks. Literally, it's like, hey guys, my name's Evil Overlord, and I'm evil. It's like, you go around the circle. Do you know what I mean? Hi, my name's Tom, like to party. What's my name? Hey guys, I'm Vivek, Evil Overlord, evil, like evil stuff. And people are like, right, that's our president right there. That sounds like president material to me. I'm Dr. Evil. Oh my god, help us. We're dumb as hell, boys. Okay, I have a mission to Dev, Macedonia. Repulse the republics. That's Diplovastli's Crete, which I'm just waiting on. There's no hurry. Trade in Thessalonia, this one. 25 dev. I'm just going to slow roll this. So I'm lacking Diplo right now. Diplo is where you want to put it in your supply chain. We can put admin and mill in here. Should still be able to get that. Have a marketplace. Markets and trade power in the Ragusan node will help us keep control of Constantinople. See, Venice is up to 2% now, the cheeky bastard. Ragusa, they are a duchy. Good. So they're joining trade leagues. Some of these guys we released. That's fine. When I diplo-vassalize them, it'll disappear. No, disagree. I personally just feel like things evolve. So Third Bert says exactly the rich got richer, not left, right, but up, down. I don't want to ally myself with the poor people. The poor people are just ignorant as hell. And they're glorified zombies. I'm gonna say it, they're walking dead. They're walking dead. That's what life is about. Life is about, are you going to live or are you gonna die? That is the situation that we're in. And over and over and over again, everybody, my constituency, my neighbors, everybody, you're laughing at me, you're like, I wanna die, I wanna die. Well then I'm gonna call you what you are, you're a walking dead, you're a zombie. Shut the fuck up, retard. I love you. Can't tell. I'm trying to be harsh. You have to choose life, or else you're just Walking Dead. That's what it is. Nice, we can afford that. That's exactly 100 war score. I'm not gonna, like, I try to appeal to people. I try, it's difficult. I'm flawed. I could do better. Maybe playing EU4 isn't the best way to appeal to people. Huh? Jesus is life. Dragovian? Jesus is life. Jesus. Choose life or choose death. Okay? I am not gonna hang with the people who choose death and be like, oh, the rich people are doing it to us. I'm not us in that situation. You're doing it to you. Did Jesus side with the poor? He did, absolutely. That's why I'm reflecting upon myself. That's exactly what I'm trying to do right now. But it's like there's this up versus down thing where it's like the implication is that down is good. We're poor, so we're moral. No, we're not moral. That's the point that I'm trying to make. Not at all. Okay, let's hit Tunis here. So I'm not really able to separate piece his friends, but I hope with ticking war score and hopefully stack wiping his ass that he pieces out. What do I mean, Jesus? What do I mean, Jesus? What I mean is that Christianity took over the Roman Empire despite being persecuted with death. That's what I mean. So they were told, if you join this, we're going to kill you. And it took over the entire empire. So when people say that Jesus didn't exist, or that Jesus isn't supernatural, they're actually making a more profound claim than Jesus literally being supernatural. Because if somebody is so-called supernatural, which is an ignorant term in the first place, because if he existed, then it would be natural, not supernatural. So you'd have to actually review the evidence. So the evidence is that it took over the empire while being persecuted with death. So if you just say, oh, he's just a regular dude, it didn't exist, didn't actually get crucified, then how did it happen where it's like, if you don't renounce this belief, we're going to put you to death? That there's no actual solution. Whereas if you say simply, oh, that's evidence that he did exist, that he is supernatural, that the people, he said, follow me, and then he came back from the dead instead of just being eradicated like every other one of 10 billion cults throughout the old world, the Roman Empire, where they're all superstitious. That's actually evidence that he did in fact exist. So when you just say, oh, he didn't exist, you're actually making a more outrageous and profoundly strange claim that is more difficult to believe than the hard evidence which resulted in exactly what you would see if it was actually true. Now, with that being said, you might say, but Monk, the science says, so if you harken back 50 years, right? If you harken back when I was a little kid or before I was born, the establishment, the old guard, the universities, which by the way, many of which are the monasteries, the universities that exist in London today, in around England today, are literally the monasteries. They are the monasteries, right? When you harken back, the old guard was Christian. It was Christian. And you have these old men today, like Richard Dawkins, who led the charge, the New Age, the New Guard against Christianity. Well, Richard Dawkins is a liar. I could find you a short if you like. Do you want to watch a short if I can find it? He's a liar. So the guy says, oh, I'm actually... Let's see if I can find it. Okay. He says, I'm science and I would never lie. But there's a problem because there was 4 individual people who called themselves the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. My display capture is not showing you guys, so that would mean that it's below them.
Dawkins admitted to lying about Jesus.
Reading your book, The God Delusion, you say that it's under scholarly dispute among historians that Jesus actually existed. Now, I checked with the ancient historians. That is not so. And it disturbed me. History is not natural science. But what I don't understand is this, why you would write something like that.
I don't think it's a very important question whether Jesus existed. There are some historians, most historians think he did, some
They
historians
certainly do. I couldn't find an ancient historian that didn't.
Well, there are one or two. When you look at history, and let's leave aside, maybe I alluded to the possibility that some historians think Jesus never existed. I take that back. Jesus existed.
Okay, now for those of you who are itching to type yes.
So, in the early 2000s, when you had the old guard of people and you had these four scientists, the four horsemen of the supposed apocalypse, who were just insisting, and you have this guy, Richard Dawkins, who is a liar. The guy's supposed to be impartial and a scientist, right? He's a liar. He's a liar. And I can show you Sam Harris lying, who is another one of them, the exact same way. They're liars. And when they are out here saying such things, I remember Richard Dawkins specifically and clearly saying, oh, guys, I wish that God was real, but it just so happens that the evidence doesn't point in that direction. What can you do? I'm British, you see. This is how he would speak, and everybody's like very compelled. What an honest way to behave, but he's in fact a liar. And the comments of the... Okay,
When
don't
Richard
scroll down. The comments of these videos and things in the 2000s on the internet would be antichrist. They would be opposed to Christ. And we're now in an era, all these years later, people realize that all of these leaders are liars. We're in the age of the internet, the age of information or information overload. They're all exposed. We can all see them lying, but most of us grew up in this environment where we've been indoctrinated into it. But now you find the opposite. If you find Richard Dawkins, it's he's a liar. It's he's exposed. And even people who today don't care about this topic are talking about how he's shrinking away from Islam, right? He was so opposed to, no, Hitchens is not based, and I'll talk about him if you like. But look, and now all the comments are, what a liar. Oh, I don't think it's a very important question, but it's the most important question. It's not a very important question, but I'll lie about it anyway. So times have turned. Okay, my point is that people, the jig is up, okay? So like I said, you can say that Jesus didn't exist. You can say whatever nonsense you want, but the evidence is there. And the answer to the question that I proposed, which is why did he take over the empire, is because the evidence points to him being real and him coming back from the dead and so on. That is what all of the people testified to. That's why they stood and died on that matter. And if you want to say that that didn't happen, that's fine. But that's a retarded thing to say in of itself. You have to provide evidence. So you have these people who took over the old guard and they're liars. Sam Harris quotes Jesus to say that Jesus said, go out and murder people. This is supposed to be somebody who's a scientist, who's impartial. He's one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. And it's a lie. He lies. So then you have another situation which is even more crazy, right? Which you just need to think about. It's extremely rational, which is that if you live in a Christian world and you have the priests, the clergyman class, then if you destroy the clergyman class and you say in the name of science, where we are the scientists, then you become the new clergyman class. So this is now, if I'm accusing Dawkins and these four horsemen of the apocalypse of accusing some kind of crime, like lying, then there should be a motivation, there should be an incentive. Well, the incentive is that Richard Dawkins has lived the latter half of his life like a modern day aristocrat because he's rich, because he became the person who, you need to read my books, you need to understand my point of view, you need to have me on interviews, that is the incentive. And people act like it's completely well, it's science, it couldn't possibly lie, it's science. Well, they're just lying to you. Okay, so Jesus is real. People said, Dragon said, what am I on about? That's what I'm on about. Get with the program. Jesus is real. That's why the scientific revolution took place in Christianity. That's why Sir Isaac Newton was a Christian. So you've been told by the charlatan liar scientist today, about, oh, Newton wasn't really a Christian. You know, go read his writings. He's talking about, oh, I'm going to fall back to my chambers and talk to God about the topic. Smartest person in the world, but you today, you're a moron. But it's okay, because I just coincidentally grew up. I just was raised in an era of science, so all I need to do is believe the science, they're just liars. The Christians invented science. How can you have science if you can't conclude? Any science that you do is just a coincidence. Any science that you engage in is just a coincidence. How can you have a scientific experiment if you cannot conclude? You need to have a conclusion. That conclusion has to have a divine respect for the truth. You cannot engage mathematics if you do not care about the answer of the equation, the truth. Then you cannot conclude. Christianity is a religion that grew when people are just warlords. When you have Vikings who are just warlords. So if the warlord asks you, oh, what's 5 plus 5? By the way, I hate the answer 10. What are you going to tell him? Don't tell me it's 10, by the way. I'm going to chop your head off. You tell him what he wants to hear. Now, you might say, oh, well, this would never happen. The yes man phenomenon. You know, do you have any IQ points? It happens all the time. The yes man phenomenon. People are told precisely what they want to hear. Christianity is a religion that teaches in the universal truth. That's why today, think about all of the factions today that say his truth, her truth, they, them truth. This is very modern. We were birthed from a Christian nation. But they say all these things. Now, are those people who say that? Are those people who say that Christian today? Typically? Are they conservative today? No, they're not. They have no issue destroying the concept of the universal truth. You need to have this divine allegiance impregnated in your mind where the truth is above all, to the extent that the king yields to the truth. He says, oh, my advisor, what is the answer to this equation? Please don't tell me this or we're screwed. And he says, sorry, my lord, it's this. And the king says, ah, rats. Oh well, what can you do? The truth is the truth. Is this how they're engaging today in Africa when they're persecuting people for being witches? Today? Of course not. Is this how the Vikings are acting? The Norwegian Vikings who are raping and pillaging each other, the guy next door? Of course not. The Christians behave this way. And do you know, for example, in the English language, it is written into our very language. For example, the word righteous, that is where the word right derives from. Righteous. Right means correct. Like if you have an equation, are you right or wrong? But it derives from the word righteous, meaning good, morally good. Okay? And some people might say, well, that's a coincidence. That's just a coincidence. Okay, well, we're engaging in science here, supposedly, right? So let's prove the inverse. You have the word wrong. Wrong. Wrong means incorrect. but it also means immoral. Oh, I suppose that's just a coincidence. Now, if you go out to Thailand, right, away from having thousands of years of Christianity in their language, designing their language, when the Thai is saying, like a buck now, excuse me, is that the same? The etymology? Our language is all around. When the African's saying, is that the same? Christianity is saying, if you are correct, you're right. And if you are wrong, you're immoral. If you're correct, you're righteous. If you're wrong, you're immoral. And that is the society that has Sir Isaac Newton, the smartest man in the world, who, boom, blows up the scientific revolution. Coincidence, guys? Coincidence. And most of you guys will trade. I will give you the golden nugget of the truth, and you will trade it for the reverse alchemical process for the lead of the lie. And you'll say, hey, look at him, guys. Give me the lie. Give me the lie. Look at him, guys. He's stupid. He's wrong. Look at him. He's lost in the sauce. Look at him. I'm right. You're cooked. So, to answer your question, what am I on about? Jesus is king. That's what I'm on about. Okay? And if you don't follow Jesus at this late stage, you're dead, because we're in the end times. So it's your last chance, because we're in the end times. We could roll generals of professionalism. There's actually a mission to have 6 generals and like an advisor. Okay, so one chat of Jesus is king, you're cooked. You're cooked, Jesus is king. That's pretty much the moral of the story, okay? That's what I'm on about. So, when you have a cult that is established, you can't, for example, like the cult of the scientific... science today. Scientism, the one world religion which is prophesied in the Bible. I can destroy people like Richard Dawkins in front of them, and there's nothing that people can do about it. He's a liar, and he's objectively a liar, and I can show that he's a liar, but they won't come out of the cult. This is how it is. So they've been indoctrinated. Science, all the science that benefits us in like a really, really beautiful way was spawned out of Christianity, not out of atheism. But then they will say that science, like a modern atheistic world, is the way to go. Look what it's brought us over the last 25, 30 years. Like, because we're just so cohesive, right? We're just so loving, right? Hey, Frankie. Frankie says I'm freaking out too much. Too loud. So she has to come check on me. Yes. She's a good dog. So, Christianity defended us against Islam, guys. The Polish, who relieved the siege of Vienna, they didn't necessarily like the Austrians. The Austrians are closer. They're a big threat. They're a problem. But they realized there'll be none of us left if we don't band together. We much prefer the Austrians in light of the Ottomans killing us because we're infidels. In light of them abducting our children and turning them into janissaries. In light of them raping our women and having, you know, the sex slave. And by the way, the Barbary Coast, which was endorsed by them as well. The Ottomans. Heinous, more than all of slavery in the United States of America. More than all the slavery in the United States of America by the Barbary slave trade. And that was the inception of the Marines in the United States of America, because America was slowly but surely doing better and better, and they found out, basically,
there's no civilization out there. We can't do anything with anybody because they don't exist. Because of the devastation that the Ottomans were reaping upon the rest of the world. So they created the Marines to come all the way out here to try to restore civilization so that they could trade with them like we do current day. You've got the Somalis, exactly the same current day, right? Trying to rape, pillage, and loot. Thankfully, it's only Somalia, but it was the whole bloody world back then. That was the inception of the Marines in the United States of America, was to come out here and stop the Barbary slave trade. And then when they came out here and they stopped it, they put it down, they talked to the Sultan in the Ottoman Empire and said, you know, are you aware of this? What's happening? And he said, yes, we endorse it because you're infidels. So this is why the Christians got together and are like, yo, this has to stop, right? That's why all of history since then has been, okay, this has to stop. We need to band together because we have commonalities against this sort of thing, right? Christian nations. But Richard Dawkins, he said that religion is a really, really big problem. And we should rout out religion and get rid of it. And then the Muslims felt emboldened because we're not so Christian anymore. And then Richard Dawkins is like, oh, never fear, guys. I've taken care of Christianity, and now I'll take care of Islam because it's also not true. And then the Muslims say, we're going to kill you if you say this. And then he says, oh, I'm sorry, and stops talking about it. And now, we don't have Christian countries. Look at this, guys. 10 foursome at 5 maximum absolutism. That means it counters this beast. And that's why the countries are falling to Islam. Because you're going to hell if you're not Christian, okay? You're getting the message? Because we're in the end times. So do you guys, I just alluded to giving you the golden nugget of the truth that you're going to trade in the reverse alchemical process for the lead of the lie. Okay? Where's Nick Fuentes with this, guys? I want to show you guys something. Where are your preachers? Where is this? People say, hindsight 2020. I want to show you something, guys. In the end times in Revelation, there's 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, right? We were just alluding to that because that's what these douchebags call themselves, these liars who call themselves scientists, who can't conclude because they have no allegiance to the truth. But where does the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse come from? Do you guys know? Oh, wait. It's all gold. Nice. This guy does not want to quit, man. Am I just wasting my breath? Nobody cares? Okay, Dank Data PC says it comes from the New Testament. Exactly, it comes from Revelations. So it's talking about the end times. Protestant Reformation occurred in Frankfurt. That's a capital. We could eliminate that trade center, the center of religion, potentially. So it's talking about the end times, and there will be 4 horsemen. There will be 4 horsemen who ride up on 4 horses. Now, what's interesting is that the word beast. The word beast in the Bible refers to godless nations of the Bible, okay? The word beast. Now, what's interesting is that horses are beasts, and this is something, a connection that I have. A beast is just an old English word for animal, okay? As opposed to an insect or something, you're a beast. I'm a beast. He's a total beast, okay? But the word beast means animal. Now, the horses that the horsemen ride upon are beasts. And it's very interesting because the Bible, even in Revelation also, it refers to various beasts as extremely famous, and the beasts represent nations. So people who follow the Bible this part of the reason they follow it when they read it and they're not morons and they realize, holy crap, this is extremely prophetic. Okay, but what people don't talk about is that the horsemen ride upon beasts, and beasts represent nations. Okay, but beyond that, I'll find it for you. We'll look it up. Do the 4 horsemen have colors? Oh, great. Thanks, YouTube, for sucking. We got the AI overview. Google. Yes, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse in the book of Revelation are each associated with a specific color, representing a different aspect of the end times. I'm going to search off stream because I don't like you guys. Okay, what are the colors of the 4 horsemen in the Bible? I'm just doing this in a very stupid, childish way, guys, so that you guys can see clearly, okay? Described in the book of Revelation, each horse rider represents a different aspect of the... Okay, same thing. White horse. White horse. Red horse. Black horse. And pale horse. So, white and pale are similar, right? The Greek word for its color, cholaros, the root of whatever, which describes a pale, sickly green or ashen. So if I think of pale, so it's sickly, guys, because it symbolizes death. Okay? So it's different to white. Now, check this out. What do we have? White, red, black, and green, to keep it simple. Which nations, because beasts are nations, have white, red, black, or green in their flags? Syria, Iraq, the Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Libya, Palestine, Sudan, Western Sahara, Kenya, Afghanistan. Now, you know what's crazy? I'll show you. Why do the Muslim nations have red, green, black, and white in the flags? So I wasn't taught this, guys, by Nick Fuentes, right? I wasn't taught it said autocorrected to which. Why? Why do they have... Okay. Represents Arab unity, shared history, and independence. The pan-Arab colors. Okay, so the same way we have red, white, and blue in every English bloody nation, because it comes from the Union Jack, including America, by the way. They are one nation unified in a concept. That's why they all have the same, but it goes further. Look! 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 Black represented by the Caliphate. White represented by the Caliphate. Green represented by the Caliphate. And by the Hashemite dynasty in Arab unity. These are nations. These are nations that attacked, raided, pillaged, forged their entire nation out of regions that were Greek for 4,000 years, or partially owned or led by the Greeks. Europe, Roman Empire. The Arabs, Muhammad, attacked Rome. North Africa, the same. Boom. Hungary, all the way up to Vienna, all the way up to southern France. Northern Europe was so underdeveloped. This was Europe at one stage. This was Europe fighting to try to prevent, like the liberation of Vienna, the complete and utter annihilation of Christianity in Europe against the Arabs. And they today have unified in the same colors of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. They run the flag, which the same colors represent four nations or dynasties which persecuted the Europeans, and they all unify together today via the pan-Arabic color scheme. I guess it's just a coincidence, guys. It's just a coincidence. Maybe somebody could tell me about it. Maybe 20, 30, 40 years from now we could talk about, oh, hindsight has 2020. And I'll be screaming, I was telling you at the time. So you've got Jebediah over in the USA. You've got Jebediah Billy Bob, who's like, guys, it's the Pope. It's the Pope. Jebediah Billy Bob's like, guys, watch out for the Pope. Anyways, the point is that the end times are an error. They're an error, and we've been in the end times for a long time, just like all of the times that are predicted in the Bible. And it says that the four seals will be released. And the amount of persecution and death that has been wreaked havoc upon the Christians is like unprecedented ever since then. And it's clearly depicted in the Bible. It's prophetic. It's color-coded and it's completely prophetic. And people think like, well, we defeated the caliphates. Oh, did we? Oh, did we? They all band together. They all have the same color scheme. Even Iran today, look at the Iran flag. You'll never be able to unsee it. It has the four horsemen of the apocalypse, except for one color. But then do you know what they do? You know how America has like the gold tint next to it? When you have the flag with the gold tint, right? So we got the red, white, and blue, which goes back to the Union Jack, which they probably don't like to admit, but that's what it goes back to. That's the color scheme. But then America's like, oh, you know what would be nice to make us look nice is we have some gold on it. Oh, very nice. Now, Iran has all but one color. And do you know what they think when they say, oh, you know what would make our flag look nice? You know what would make it look nice? Not gold. They use the fourth color. They're like, yeah, we'll put the fourth color of the four horsemen of the apocalypse on our flag. That's what would make it look nice. It's right in front of your face. Anyway, and Jebediah Billy Bob in the USA is like, oh, the Pope is this close. He's this close to forcing you against your will to have Sunday off. Oh, it's the end of the world, right? Anyway, you guys hate the Pope right now. Give me tithes, please. Because I'm the Pope of this here area. Of my cousins, but we're so inbred that there's lots of them. My name's Jebediah Billy Bob. I'm Hillbilly. Genius, brother. Genius. I'm convinced. I don't know about you guys. I'm convinced. So who's he a vessel of? Is he a vessel of Tunis? Okay. So this is more war score we need. Yeah, so there you go, guys, and I show you and nobody cares, right? Like I called it. Nobody cares. Everybody's like, oh yeah, sweet. So believe it or not, guys, I wasn't taught that by anybody. Just like I wasn't taught that, you know, us all losing our jobs and locking ourselves inside because of supposed COVID is a bad idea. A good idea. Colonialism spread to our nation. So people say the Pope is the Antichrist, and meanwhile a religion which has wreaked havoc and murdered and raped like countless people for the last like 1600 years all carving out nations within inside of Christianity for different nations in many cases, like the Reconquista, which was the first crusade, by the way. All of Europe had to band together to literally fight back to avoid complete and utter annihilation. And now, to this very day, it controls like 30% of the world, which is color-coded in the same color to show where the allegiance is, which is continuing to harass and destroy all of Europe and North America, by the way. It must just be a coincidence, guys. No prophecy there whatsoever. Matter of fact, I don't know about you guys, but I think the Bible's dumb. We should follow Richard Dawkins, who's a liar. He's a total beast. I've lost track of some of my cannons here. I've got to respect you holding one train of thought, side stories over an hour. It's very difficult, and I don't feel like I do a good job, but I appreciate that, Dragon. I've been in this situation a billion times, and it's just impossible to change people's minds. That's why I called you guys Walking Dead, because you will go to the grave before you change your mind. The truth is just that unappetizing. Somebody said, what am I on about when I said Jesus is Lord, so that's why we're here. Jesus is the King of Kings, and he's the only living God, and that's why half of you people have this desire, which you won't talk about, to worship a man like Julius Caesar, or like the bad German man, or like Napoleon, is because the God Emperor of man does exist in real life, and you're hardwired to appreciate that. That's why you have all these like occultist people, and they're like, oh, the Emperor will come back one day, and they're right. But you have no irrational divine allegiance to the truth. The truth can slap you in the face and you couldn't care less. It's all about what you want. Your opinion, what you think is cool or appealing, is pathetic. You have to yield to the truth, or you're nothing but a freaking primitive barbarian. Exactly, Windrunner. You're exactly right. And all of us, any heinous thing that is black and white, that is perpetuated by the church, every single Christian has absolutely no issue denouncing, disapproving. So why are my cannons so damaged? That's where they are. They just have attrition. I don't know why they're so worn out. Whereas the other religion that I'm talking about, it is their prophet that they worship, and they worship him. If you even depict him in a way they don't like, they'll cut your head off. So their prophet married a girl when she's 6 years old. That general's been around forever, and he's gone now. Feels bad, man. He had 3 siege pip on him. We're actually ahead in I should actually be barraging forts. I didn't think about that. Yeah, and you can see debates as of yesterday, as of last week, as of last month, where they're justifying it. They're justifying it. They have no defense. They just say, well, 6 years old, 9 years old is a woman. And you guys feel comfortable? You're like, oh man, listen to Monk. He's so bigoted. Brother, if truth and justice was in this world, you would be put up against a brick wall and shot. You feel comfortable? You're like, oh, you're bigoted. Okay, man, if that makes you feel better. But you're going to get yours, and that's not a threat on individuals. I'm not going to do anything to anybody. I'm talking about when God comes back, you better be down on your knees praying to the devil that I'm wrong. because he's going to come back and you're going to get yours. So maybe if Richard Dawkins, oh, he's lying. Richard Dawkins is lying. So I'm convinced. Okay, man, have fun with that. Oh, Sam Harris is lying, so I'm convinced. Oh, do you remember when Monk exposed him for being a liar? I'm convinced that he's not lying. Okay, man. Have fun with that. You're about to get cooked. Literally, hell feels good, man. Hell feels good. Really nice and toasty. So somebody said that Christopher Hitchens is based. I've given you guys some crazy knowledge drops which nobody appreciates. You're welcome. And now I'm going to do something opposite, which is, it's just an IQ check. Okay? This is not a good argument. It's just an IQ check. Christopher Hitchens, I heard it with my own 2 eyes, my own 2 ears. I heard it with my eyes, by the way. That's crazy. He said, God doesn't exist. I just full chord a province by mistake. Frick. Play slower. That was 30 admin points gone. Right? And everybody's like, wow. Wow, God doesn't exist. Okay, what's your argument, Christopher Hitchens? And because he's one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. The others are liars, right? Who are objectively lying, and I can show you that they're lying, but not this guy. He's a legend, right? And he's like, God doesn't exist. And people are like, damn, okay, but can you prove that though? And he says, yes, hear me out. Hear me out. This is big brain. Either he doesn't exist, or he does exist. That's what he says. And people are like, wow, you're so smart. Okay, I'm convinced. And you say, Monk, you're lying, you're exaggerating. There's no way he said that. There's no way he just yielded his position and didn't say anything and didn't back it up. There's no way. Do you want to bet? It's just you didn't hear it. It's exactly what he did, but you didn't hear it. And the reason you didn't hear it is because you're evil and you agree with him. I'm evil too. So what he actually said is, well, God either doesn't exist or he does exist, but he's a really bad guy. And you were like, oh, I'm a little kid and I'm indoctrinated? What an argument! What an argument! Profound. Wow, this guy's based. This guy's based. Okay, so let's say he does exist, because he says he exists. Richard Hickens just goes up on stage, whatever his name is, goes up on stage and says, God exists, right? Imagine I say, this is a glass of water or not a glass of water. You're affirming it's a glass of water. You're saying 100% that you're open to the idea, the concept that it's a glass of water. He goes up on stage and says, God exists. And everybody's like, wow, I'm convinced that he doesn't exist now. Okay, so let's say that he does exist, and therefore he's evil. So do I care, now in this world, his hypothetical, where God does exist, do I care about Richard Hitchens, whatever his name is? Christopher Hitchens, his opinion? In the timeline, which he affirmed that God does exist, do I care about his opinion on what's right or wrong, or do I care about Christopher Hitchens' opinion that's right or wrong? But how stupid are you, who listens to this guy go up on stage and say, God exists, and you're like, oh my God, that guy's based, but he sounds very British, you see. He says it, and he sounds very British. He's so British. If he was any more British, he couldn't speak at all. And you're like, holy, he's cooking. It's that moment that it's the time you realize you gotta grow up. You're not a little kid anymore. We don't care about Christopher Hitchens and his stupid ass accent saying stupid ass things, and the guy's fat like a pig. Grow up! Fair? You're not a little kid anymore. Oh, either he doesn't exist or he does. But if he does, he's evil. And you're like, I'm convinced. Grow up. Holy crap. This is science? Meanwhile, his cohorts, he's all, oh, we'll do business together, we'll get rich. And they're lying, and I can show you that they're lying. I did show you that they're lying. Buy my book. Don't worry, guys. It's just a matter of life and death. It's just your eternal soul. It's just the fate of your children at stake. Nothing serious or anything like that. Grow up. Holy crap. I know that you saw that. The guy who's like, Christopher Hitchens is based. I know that you saw that when you were like 10 years old. As an adult, he is the one who perpetuated the argument that if God exists, he's not a good God. Oh, look at this situation where God sent a bear to attack this guy. He's a bad God. Great, I'm so happy that you're going to hell now. Sweet. I'm sorry, like, I take it seriously, right? Your eternal salvation and your children. Many of you guys raise children to go to hell. I'm sorry that I take it seriously. My bad. I just consecrated 3 dev in his capital from this worthless land. We should actually TC this straight up. I think we get a merchant. It's every trade center in Tunis. The truce is not Gnostics. The Gnosticism is just a joke for low IQ people. What are you, dumb idiot? I've got this guy. No, what are you, Twitch Chad? Twitch Chad? I got this guy. He's like got the greatest name in all of Twitch. Twitch Chad. And how do you come up with such a profoundly epic name when he's a moron? Were you a Gnostic? Shut the hell up. That's heresy, bud. I would say go to hell, but that's exactly where you're going. So it's too real, too soon. Okay, I think we're done, boys. So for me, nice, we did get a merchant. We're absolutely cooking financially. That's even with a lot of overextension, we're making crazy money. We could drop the 30 CCR, or we could wait until Tech 10 and pushing for this. Have 60 CCR for 20 years, that would be crazy. If only it worked retroactively. If I was paying attention and taking the game seriously, I could have done it beforehand. Right now, I want to core faster. No. I never... Saying it's the truth doesn't make it the truth, you're right. But knowing it's the truth, understanding it's the truth, and then subscribing to the truth instead of my own personal feelings or opinion, it remains the truth. So this guy's unconned. Poland allies England. That's projection. It's literally projection. You're the one who's subscribed to a lie. But you're too much of a frickin' sissy to yield to the truth. Because you don't want to change. Imagine being a Gnostic, boys. Imagine being a Gnostic. Ask an actual priest what he thinks about my theories? Fair enough. However, actual priests are not Gnostics. I'd be interested to hear what an actual priest thinks about my theories. No, you're not. You're a Gnostic, bud. Atheism, Gnosticism, same thing. You're out here, you care about the Greeks, right? They came up with this stuff, same thing. The Gnostics deny Christ as well as you, same thing. You're saying you're effing with me. Wow, guys. I'm crazy. Wow, I'm surprised. You both believe in load of nonsense and you reject the truth. It's exactly the same. It's all nonsense to me. Nonsense of one shape or another. Oh, we completed the African quest. I'm surprised. I thought I've been in this situation before and I remember needing more than that. That's interesting. Maybe it's because I got in there earlier and all the development was on the capital, or they didn't even have that developed. I concentrated it. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. I remember not being able to do that in one war. That was exactly 100% war score. Moral of navies is juiced. Galley combat ability for 30 years. Okay. Whoa! The end times are not coming. We're in the end times already, for sure. That's like... Priests do believe that. What are you talking about? What a moron. The only way you can not believe that, in my view, is if you're... I mean, don't get me wrong, that's not a litmus test whether you're a Christian or not. You can still be a Christian and believe that, but you're just dumb. But dumb is not a penalty. You're not going to be sent to hell for being dumb. But we're 100% in the end times. The only way you could not believe that is if you didn't believe the Bible. It's ridiculous. So, I know if you follow Jebediah Billy Bob instead of like an actual... teaching. He's more worried about the Pope, I realize that, and like building the influence of his church. I'm not an expert on the matter, but I believe for a long, long time. I would say like medieval, personally. But I'm just guessing. All of it, the stuff is, it's convoluted. You know what I mean? You're supposed to just have eyes to see and ears to hear, and you're supposed to just recognize the teachings. So I've done this many times before, but you know, most of my, I don't like the term fans, but a lot of my followers here want me to rant like that, so there you go. But as you can see, I just get grief for doing it, for the most part. Book of the Perfect. 60 loyalty gives me 2... more. Mercantilism. Mercantilism's not that important, but we don't run colonies. I could sell C's and be over 20, but I kind of like the idea of being over 30 at this stage. Wait, among us... so two of you guys have red names, and you're talking among us, still funny. You're not, atheist or agnostic? You're agnostic, right? I'm not, I don't even want to engage with agnostics. You guys are so ridiculous. My name is green? No, it's different for different users because you haven't selected a color. So it's red for me. It's blurring in with the other guy who was saying the same things for me. I apologize. You may, yeah, so you're both atheists. You're both atheists who are promoting agnosticism. Like, I don't give a crap, bro. I don't give a crap. I mean, these guys literally are like, you're wrong, Gnosticism is the way. And I'm like, you know, at least you're honest. I'm like, oh, what are you? You're like, I'm atheist. Yeah, my bad, dude. There's all kinds of hell that people have in their mind, right? All over the world, the majority of people. Christianity is the largest religion in the world. It's the largest demograph of people in the world. But the majority are composed of other things together. And I'm not going to just, like, receive hell from one ignorant person who just, like, makes demands. Like, I don't care. It's whatever. I think we just don't take the 2 mercantilism here, guys. I could pre-do this if I build a workshop in Naxos. That looks like a quest. No, even on the deathbed, unfortunately, when running, there are people who are so stubborn. But, they go to hell, obviously. There's a lot of people who don't want to hear the good news. They don't want to hear that you can just band together and create a good life to your house for yourself. That they want to live in hell. They don't want to hear that actually you don't have to be a person that your grandfather would despise if he knew you. You can just be a good person that your grandfather would appreciate. No. Okay. Clearly I underestimated Austria. So we can dishonor the guarantee, but I don't like Ragusa being under Austria at all. You little bastard. Okay, I wonder, do we actually defend Ragusa, guys? I have France now. I really don't like that. So we could release Dalmatia in the future and trade it back with favors. It's dishonor. Yeah. I agree with you, Conqueror. We could get Dalmatia and then we could return this core with favors. Yeah, but I still don't appreciate Austria going in there. Alright guys, so I'm pretty sure this guy is like just trolling. And the guy said, Allah. So you're banned, bud. Because we don't like Satan or Lucifer here. We don't like child molesters. We don't like the god of the child molesters, guys. Okay? Welcome. See? Look how much fun we can have. Look how much fun we can have. You can actually have self-respect. You can actually work hard. You can actually build a future for yourself. You can actually be a person who is your grandfathers would like and appreciate. It's crazy, right? You don't have to be indoctrinated since you're a little child by liars like Richard Dawkins. Oh, unfortunately, it just so happens that I want to make a lot of money. Please make me a lot of money. You don't have to care about Richard Dawkins' career. Let it go. Let it go. Time to grow up, okay? Four years from now, we can go into the Ottomans. I'm trying to decide whether we take the 20 CCR or not. The word Allah? No, I'm just making a statement. He's wrong and he's evil, so he can get wrecked. This guy's 74 years old. Oh, I could do trust with him. We live in a perverted world where if you're good, it's, oh, he's a bigot, let's ban him, let's cancel him. Well, this is my stream. So you're gonna get banned if you're evil. And there are people who disagree on that, and they can get effed, okay? I'm not a snowflake at all. Well, am I a snowflake? I can be. I'm very cold right now. It's the winter in New Zealand. Okay, I'm a snowflake. I feel like a popsicle. So we're just waiting for these cores to finish up. Guys, the guy says to me he's a Gnostic, okay, which is an antichrist niche cult religion, okay, which goes back pre-Christ. It's to be obsessed with the Greeks and Greek philosophy and stuff, okay, and to make it like your god, okay. So I'm talking to him. He's merging together with another guy who has the same colored chat, and I'm like, just to clarify, I thought you said you're an atheist. The other guy said he's an atheist. Are you the Gnostic? And he says to me, no, I'm an atheist. Oh, so he's not actually a Gnostic, but he was advocating for like the truth to undermine what I'm saying. But he's actually an atheist. And then so I'm here in conversation with him, and he says, Allah save you. The guy will go to an evil demonic child molester god, okay, to try to get like a win, to try to like just antagonize me. That's what he wants to do. He's representing all these different gods and all these different beliefs because he's just trolling me. So I banned him, okay? But real talk, we're not down with Allah. We don't like the Muslims, okay? Real talk. It's not Islamophobic. It's that Muhammad married a 6-year-old, okay? And the Muslims today defend that. Today. Not the odd one, the majority of them. The majority of them, okay? The majority of them are going for Sharia law. Sharia law means if you're in the UK and they're pushing for Sharia law, the majority of them, they want to do that to your daughters, okay? Today. And it's not, look, if one Muslim happens to be a lovely guy, a saint, I'm not saying every single Muslim, I'm just saying the majority of them. I'm not gonna sit back. No, it's not a stretch. That's what Sharia law, it's Islamic law. In the Islamic law, they say as soon as a child shows signs of puberty, they're an adult of age. And they're sleeping with them. It's not 18, it's not 16, it's shows signs of puberty, which is a little kid which the parents, the father, the men around them make at their own discretion. Oh, puberty now, boom. And that is why they have the highest birth rates in the world. Between a husband and a wife, when you're trying to have a child, it's called trying. Right? People typically use the term trying, like we're trying. They are trying with children before they are able to conceive. Okay? And they get pregnant. They're trying with children. It's not a stretch. I didn't say every. I in fact said some of them are good. If they're good, it's a coincidence that they're good. It's not because they follow their belief, because their belief is bad. But regardless, the guy doesn't even believe that. He's just trying to F with me, and I banned him, okay? But I'm not going to sit back. I'm going to stand up for myself. Sorry, I'm going to stand up for Jesus. I'm going to stand up for humanity. I'm going to stand up for Christianity. I'm going to stand up for civilization. Sorry. Okay? What do I have? You guys think I'm worried? Like, oh, 70 people won't watch me on stream. I couldn't care less, guys. Most of it goes back to what we were ranting about earlier with the Paradox streamers. These guys are afraid, you know, the worst slur of all? The worst slur of all is the G-O-B slur. Job! Job! Jump scare! Jump scare! Job! Get a job! People are like, oh, I have to lie and shill for Paradox. Oh, I might have to get a job! Job! Get a job! Losers. You think I care about the stream like that? Like that? I'm not gonna... You think I'll be like, oh, gotta go to hell now. Gotta go to hell now. Sorry, guys. Don't want to get a job. I'm scared of the J word. Oh, sorry guys, game's really good. Spend your money. Don't want to get a job. Oh, we love Muslims. We love the Somalis. They're so good. They're so alright. Gonna stab your daughter at the mall. It's a classic song. Sorry guys, wouldn't want to offend anybody. This guy Mexicorn says I'm out now. Hey, love you, man. Hope to see you in heaven. Probably won't, because everything I just said is true. You literally just got triggered by everything I just said, which was true. So if the truth is such an aversion, that's rough, bro, because the truth's also Jesus Christ. Okay, it's not a coincidence. Let's overextend for a little bit. Now I'm going to have to unstate some of this. No, none of this is stated. She's a bee, mate. Do we have marketplaces here? No. So I would suspect we might not maintain this merchant all the time. Any priest who does that, guy who got auto-modded because the Twitch doesn't want to see that comment, is a bad priest. But you're talking about something that I can just say to you didn't happen, prove that it happened. Now, you'll notice that the Me Too era is a scam. One of the people who was engaged leading the Me Too era groomed and raped and molested a young boy. Okay, and then all of a sudden it disappeared. Okay, but before the Me Too era, Michael Jackson had his career assassinated, his public image assassinated before the Me Too era in a similar fashion, which is now, to anybody within reason, if you follow, you'll realize it's a complete and utter scam. But prior to the Me Too era and prior to Michael Jackson, there was this idea that Catholics, priests are doing all of this stuff. Now, I'm not saying Michael Jackson is innocent, says Dank Data PC, exactly. Or, I wouldn't say he's innocent, he is a human being, but of those allegations and those charges, he was, yes. Now, with that being said, I'm not saying that priests have never done anything to anybody, but what I am saying is prove it. Prove it. Prove it. Because the stats don't bear that out. So if you want to be mature and in reality of that topic, if you are a predator, today, you just convert to Islam. Okay, but we're going to go back 20 years. If you're a predator, what you do is you find yourself a position of authority, of trust around children, that you can take advantage of them. Okay, that's what you do. So when you compare the rates of genuine cases of the priests versus other similar scenarios, for example, schooling, male school teachers, Boy Scouts, other situations when you have authority over children, the rates are less, not higher. Okay? So basically, you're like, human beings are evil and sin, which Christianity teaches against, Christians' fault. Human beings are evil and sin, demons most affected. Shut up, you twit. Prove it. I'm allowed to defend myself, and it's like, oh, the church is like, oh, we didn't just implode, we didn't just self-implode because a bunch of demonic liars are accusing of us of the things. Must be a conspiracy. Hey, go follow Nick Fuentes, dude. He'd probably say it's the Jews. Go follow him. Huge IQ. Must be a conspiracy. Frickin' moron. I hope that answers your question. Prove it. You're like a bunch of demonic liars made accusations. Oh, my fault. My fault. I'll go to hell now. Sorry about that. I'll see you in hell, bud. Color me convinced. Guys, sorry, guys. We're going to hell now, okay? Because a bunch of demonic liars are making accusations. Sorry, guys. My bad. What was I thinking? Okay, now I don't actually want this land, guys, of Austria. But I think we're going to take it because I'm trying to mend the schism. And apparently, Okay, reduce separatism. 5. Permanent power projection, army tradition. That's nice. Apparently, mending the schism requires provinces in Europe, and this is in Europe. So we should take it. Requires a lot more. Yeah, and it's all the more reason. I thought about not converting these, but we will. I could take Defender rank 3. Ooh. I'd pretty much only need to defend Muscovy. Ooh, Lucca as well. I'm gonna do it. I want this missionary. Hal's a pretty nice place, actually. No, it's not. Can you vassalize Lucca? I can vassalize a bunch of people, but I have too many relations and I'm annexing a subject right now. Slowly. So, Al Tango, you have to prove that for me to believe it, like in the sense that show more compelling evidence that they're doing that, as opposed to other people who are in positions of power. When you have a position of power where you have some degree of trust and access to children, that's where predators are going to seek. Okay? So that's my answer to your question. It's not my fault. I'm not held accountable for other people's actions. Do you genuinely believe that I like that? I don't. Okay? Otherwise, so much as you're just saying, trust me, Bo, they're really bad. I don't care. Okay? I don't want that to happen. I'm opposed to it. It's horrible. And meanwhile, like 3% of Muslims have done it to 250,000 children, and that's low estimations. Now they reckon it's more like 500,000 over the last 50 years in England. Okay, not thousands throughout all of Europe. I'm worried about the 250,000, and because it's embedded into their religion as opposed to my religion, whereas if anybody in my religion 100% was dead to rights caught with that, if I was allowed, I would dismantle them personally, myself, piece by piece. I have no problem with that. And the fact that they're part of my religion does not alleviate that or save them from that, okay? However, the religion that we follow is opposed to that. It does not endorse it and is not, to an extent, the cause of it, okay? Enough. Did I answer your question? I hope so. Let's ally these guys while we can. Guys, the Georgian is 74 years old, and then he started getting Liberty Desire, where if he died with Liberty Desire, we couldn't inherit him. I'd be so pissed. Wow, Muscovy just got called to arms against him and didn't get exiled. He's in his territory. What a beast. Muscovy's a beast. Thank you, El Tango. I've over 10,000 hours in the game. I've been playing this game for years, but I took like a damn near a 2-year break. I had a small stint where I did play the game. I've barely been playing. Hey, El Tango, you're a pretty reasonable guy, bro. I'm sorry if I, like, jumped down your throat. It's just that rare W where you're like, I said if I answered your question, hopefully you're satisfied, and you're like, hey, you did answer my question. Most people are, like, so unreasonable on the internet, bro. Maybe including myself. I think it doesn't bring out the best in people, eh? Okay, let's go deal with these, rebels as well. I wonder if the Mams would walk out there to Tunis, but that's stopping these cores, and then I'm going to be overextended. Game's lagging a little bit. This is a huge scale war. Poland's very strong, I'm sure. He's currently at Tech 8 though, so we actually caught him with his pants down a little bit. Hopefully he's not as brutally powerful as he is the previous time we fought him. Why are you guys saying capital D colon? Hands down? Was it pants down? Okay, guys, I'm pretty confident we win this war. I gotta go. Thanks for hanging out with me. I guess we're turn around. There ain't nothing there. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate you. Yeah. I guess I mean, well, that's all that I want to say. Okay, and I hope you recognize that, but I know most of you don't. Anyway, thanks for watching. Peace out, guys. Having fun, I guess. I'm kind of in a position where I wanted to prove that I could do this after 2 years, as the title suggests, and we're absolutely cooking. We're above and beyond the most great power in the world. We're going to fall in against the Ottomans when our truce comes up, which is shortly, and we're going to turn against the Mamluks. I'm going to attempt to rival the Mamluks and switch them out for the Timurids because it would be really convenient. If one of these, we could eclipse one of these, which doesn't seem possible. Maybe if I could embrace colonialism before Poland, eh? You often get a bump. Maybe if we embrace colonialism before Poland, then we eclipse them, we switch it to the Mamluks. Otherwise, I forget which monarch point it is, but you can spend monarch points to switch. I'll attempt to get them to keep them out of a coalition, basically, the Timurids, if they respect us, guys. And yeah, I'm trying to go on to mend the schism, but I didn't realize you need so many in Europe, because I'm specifically conquering outside of Europe. So we need, like, a good amount, over 100 provinces. But we'd obviously work on these claims, maybe Iberia, with the help of France. And yeah, I guess we'll continue. But I kind of want to try some other things in EU4 as well. Later, chat. Thanks for watching. Bye. See you, everybody. Have a good night.